I never thought it was gonna be New York, but you know, because I was actually late to the first meeting ever on my 30 visit. I was late to the bus pickup. 5 minutes late to the bus pickup. So
wow.
I thought I was cooked there. You know, I thought I was like, all right, here, this is already bad. You know, and then, you know, getting a call.
The camera's on his face when the third round ends. Phone silent. Contract shrinking by the minute. 7 backs already gone. Sponsors refreshing decks. A kid who once had 0 stars is watching his lifetime market price get set in real time, cheaper by the pick. 4th round clock bleeding out. New York on the board, and every analyst repeating the same measurable knocks. The moment is pure finance, value, mispriced, and compounding. To see why a Labra label followed him all the way here, we need to go back to where value gets set and how a number becomes a ceiling. Recruiting is supposed to predict the future. In practice, it rations attention. If you're not in the right tournaments or the right zip code, if your coach doesn't have the Rolodex, your film sits in inboxes. Cam Skadabo's high school tape was loud, 3,500 yards, 42 touchdowns, but the market heard a whisper, small school schedule, 5'9", not a verified burner. The star system made the decision easy. 0. It wasn't a judgment, it was a filter. Here's the part that stings economically. Early labels turn into pipelines. Stars invite invites. Invites create camps, spark sheets, headline reps. Those create more looks, which harden opinions. A 0 star gets none of it. The cost to break through skyrockets because the people who could change your price aren't watching. Sacramento State was the offer, not the dream. But it was a market, one willing buyer when the rest walked. Then the signals started piling up. Freshman reps turned into explosive yards per carry. Sophomore year, he becomes Big Sky Offensive Player of the Year. That's not noise, that's repeatable output. But gatekeepers discount FCS context as a matter of policy. Cheaper to collect a 40 time than to adjust for scheme, line quality, and defensive strength. So the record reads, dominant. But there, the cost of doing the hard analysis kept his price down. He transfers. Arizona State is the reset button and another data point. New staff, Power 5 schedule, new conditioning, he listens, reshapes his body, and returns with a season that forces attention. Mississippi State turns into 262 on the ground. Oklahoma State becomes a demolition, a Big 12 title MVP, then a college football playoff epic where he runs, catches, and even throws on the biggest stage. Now the market is awake, but the label lag matters. Scouting departments lean into things they can standardize: height, weight, straight line speed. Those are cheap, fast, and defensible in a room. Context is expensive and political. If you grade yards after contact by situation or model pass protection with real assignment difficulty, you need time, humans, and money. So the system overweights what's easy. That creates a systemic discount on backs who win with leverage, balance, vision, and contact stamina. Meanwhile, fans are running a different calculus. They don't buy 40s, they buy story. The underdog brand travels. Clips of hurdles, trick throws, and goal line violence convert. That's brand equity. Trust, toughness, repeatability. It's more marketable than a shuttle split because it answers a sponsor's question. Will people lean in when this face shows up? Once you're mispriced, the draft compounds it. Rookie deals are fixed. Your discount hardens into a contract, and that's where arbitrage begins. Draft day turns a feeling into math. The 4th round slot ties Cam to a fixed rookie deal with small signing bonus, low year 1 cap hit, and 4 years of team control. For a front office, that's not just a player, that's a budget asset with upside. You're basically buying an option on production at a discount price, and the premium is minimal. Directionally, a 4th round running back lands around 4 to 5 million total cash over 4 years with a fraction up front and team-friendly escalators. That's the entire bet. If he becomes depth, you're fine. If he becomes a starter or high-usage committee lead, you've created surplus value that compounds every Sunday. The cheaper the entry, the wider the spread between cost and output. Here's how you quantify it. Cost per yard. Take total compensation against scrimmage yards. Add a light adjustment for touchdowns and first downs, and compare it to backs drafted in the top 100. If Cam clears roughly 1,000 scrimmage yards as a rookie, rushing, receiving, and a sprinkle of special teams value, his cost per yard drops into a band that's often 50 to 70% lower than the early picks. Meanwhile, teams paying a premium for a day 2 back might need 1,200 to 1,400 yards just to break even on efficiency. That's before you even price in pass protection, which keeps quarterbacks alive and drives EPA on hidden downs. The snap geometry matters. Cam's value isn't only yards, it's snaps per dollar. He can pass protect, catch, motion into the slot, handle short yardage, and take special teams reps if needed. Every package he can execute accelerates payback because you're extracting more utility from the same cap line. Coaches call trust, accountants call it amortization. Now layer in volatility. Running back is a churn position. Injury rates, workload spikes, and week-to-week variance are the rule. If your acquisition cost is low, your downside is capped. You can take 2 late-round backs and a veteran minimum and still spend less than 1 high-tier rookie contract. Portfolio logic says diversify into rugged profiles. Balance, contact endurance, and vision age better than pure time speed. Cam fits that portfolio. When the starter tweaks a shoulder and misses weeks, the backup's earnings curve accelerates on field. More touches mean more value delivered against a fixed cost. Against league baselines, undrafted free agents rarely stick beyond camp. 4th rounders carry a materially higher survival rate and see the field earlier, especially if they can block. Cam was priced like depth, but played like a committee lead. Watch the moments where trust converts to value. A day 1 blitz pickup that earns him 3rd down reps. A red zone finish against Dallas that cements goal line work. A dual threat line against Kansas City that expands the playbook. Then a statement game against the Chargers, with a rookie quarterback where touches follow reliability. Each is an ROI spike. Each nudges the staff to call his number again. Comps help teams reason about risk. Austin Eckler was undrafted, labeled too small, too slow, then turned into a PPR machine who kept delivering high-value touches without high cap cost. He won on leverage, balance, contact power, angle understanding, things the stopwatch underprices. Cam's profile echoes that. Yards after contact, soft hands, good eyes and protection, and red zone conversion built on leg drive and center of mass control. Different bodies, similar efficiency patterns. If a first-round back costs 4 to 5 times more over the rookie window, and Cam's BOIR per dollar in years 1 and 2 lands 2 to 3 times better than the premium cohort, that's not a cute story. That's an institutional edge. The broader point is systems. Scouts are rewarded for being on spec. GMs are rewarded for hitting budgets and wins. A 4th round back who performs like a top 50 pick gives both cover. The decision becomes retrofitted as we believed, but really it's an arbitrage that exists because the pricing machinery favored easy metrics over expensive context. In a hard cap league, those inefficiencies decide January football. Team side, this cascades. A late round back producing starter snaps lets you spend elsewhere. An extra nickel corner, a mid-season trade for a tackle, a retention deal for a homegrown safety. The ripple shows up in depth charts, not press releases. The fan sees a first down. The cap manager sees basis points saved. And here's where the contract timeline matters. If year 1 and year 2 hit, your leverage window is the full rookie deal. You can ride surplus value through the arc of a young quarterback, stabilize the offense, and avoid overpaying in the veteran running back market. If you want to reward him early, you can tack on incentives per game active, yardage triggers, playoff wins that align cash to production. If you don't, you still hold the advantage of time. Either path came from a single misprice on draft day. While the team banks surplus value, Cam's personal market flips. The underdog narrative becomes a marketing asset. Sponsors don't buy straight line speed. They buy reliability, authenticity, and moments fans remember. That's why the hurdle clips, the trick play touchdown, the truck stick finishes matter. They're efficient content. They travel fast, cost the brand nothing to produce, and turn into recall when a logo sits next to his face. Directionally, pre-draft endorsement potential for a 4th round running back sits in the low 6 figures. Local car dealerships, training facilities, regional quick-serve restaurants, maybe a niche energy or recovery brand. Post-breakout, that mix shifts to mid-6 figures across multiple deals. A national workwear line leaning into toughness, a nutrition or hydration partner that frames durability, a gaming or streaming deal that monetizes downtime, and a fintech wallet tapping into his blue-collar appeal. Structure the contracts with escalators tied to starts, total yards, touchdowns, or social growth, and you align incentives without overcommitting. His social audience compounds with every Sunday roll expansion that lifts CPMs and improves his leverage in bundled packages. Deliver 2 branded posts, 1 locker room clip, and a Tuesday film room breakdown, and the sponsor gets storytelling, not just an ad. The more repeatable the on-field role, the more stable the brand calendar. Reliability is the real currency. There's an Eckler blueprint here. He built community programs, showed up consistently online, then layered in podcasting and live streaming, turning a perceived ceiling into a media floor. Cam can do the same. Weekly mic'd up segments that highlight pass protection and short yardage grit. Off-season training diaries with a partner. Community days sponsored by a supermarket chain. That's a content moat. Recurring formats that lower sponsor acquisition production costs because the audience already expects the series. Cash is fine, equity comp is better if the story sustains. Take small stakes and align startups, sports tech that tracks contact balance, recovery tools, or nutrition products, where his field-tested credibility adds value. A late-stage cash fee turns into a mid-stage advisory slice plus rev share. If his on-field role grows, the equity outperforms one-off checks. The NIL echo matters too. He missed early earnings because the rating system suppressed visibility. Now that he's visible, brands are paying not just for production, but for the correction. The grit premium exists because fans believe he earned it the hard way. That belief lifts purchase intent more than a tenth of a second in a 40-yard dash ever could. From a spend efficiency view, Cam lowers a brand's cost to acquire attention. His highlights are organically shareable. His narrative is easy to explain in 7 words, 0 stars to Sunday starter, and his on-camera presence feels uncoached. That trims editing time, cuts reshoot risk, and reduces the chance of a campaign dying in approvals. Cheaper inputs, faster outputs, better recall. It's the same arbitrage just on the marketing P&L, and this loops back to the teams. A player who turns limited cap spend into wins and limited ad spend into clicks is a double efficiency asset. If he sustains performance, he'll graduate from seasonal deals to multi-year partnerships and from flat fees to blended packages, base cash, performance bonuses, affiliate upside, and warrants. The market that once called him a zero now pays a premium for the same traits it ignored: balance, endurance, and belief. A dollar label turned into a profit engine. Mispriced contract, premium snaps, rising CPMs, and a story fans buy without being sold. That's the margin created when systems price what's easy and ignore what wins. If you want more data-backed breakdowns of undervalued athletes turning narrative into dollars, subscribe to Revenue Racers. Watch our Austin Eckler market efficiency episode next to see how comps translate into BAWAR per dollar, brand equity, and multi-year deals. It's the same playbook: grit, reliability, and repeatable value beating the spreadsheet. Hit subscribe and let's keep finding the edges everyone else leaves on the table.